especially as we constantly demand from the government the dividends of democracy and accountability, even within the private sector or the organized private sector, like we always choose to call it. My name is Oᴑᴜᴜ Akin. I'm always being, happy each time I need to put on the mic by 4 o'clock every Mondays through Fridays to take you through the world on our own platform here, the Situation Room, live on Milan 98.3 FM. We get to do this, like I said, every Monday to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. And this is not the only program that gives you the opportunity to have your thoughts or your fears shared. We'll always start from Sunday. That's from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Political Roundtable. Aside for hard with his league of elite analysts and the journalists, opinion leaders always come together to set the mood for the week. And on Wednesday, another big one, 1 to 3 p.m. is always midweek politics with Said Fawad, Victor Achibong, and myself. But this is where we always have your thoughts, 90 straight minutes of conversation around this situation. That's exactly why we call it the Situation Room, and we'll always open the phone lines and our social media platforms to get feedback from you. Let's get the conversation going. Today we're going to be stepping a bit into the academia, as I will be having Professor Mrs. Adenike Abdurrahim. She will be joining me on the show. She's the head of department chemistry, University of Ilorin, the first female professor of chemistry from the university. She joins me on the show today via phone, and we're going to be looking at the educational situation in this country, from 140 cut off to 18 years minimum, I almost said minimum wage, admission limit, admission range for the universities. We're going to be focusing on all of that today, but it's always my pleasure when you have people that have put their lives on the line to better the quality of education in this country. When you see women that have, led from the front, that have taken charge of responsibility. So it's my pleasure to have Professor Mrs. Adenike Abdurrahim join me in the studio today via phone. She's the head of Department of Chemistry, University of Ilorin, and the first female professor of chemistry in the university. Prof, good evening, and thank you for joining me live on the show.
Oh, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good, and thank you very much for squeezing time out of your schedule to be with us on the show today.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Okay. So let's get straight up.
Nice to be with you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Let's get straight up into the conversation. First off, let me talk to you, before we get into the topic. It's always huge when you have within the academia, individuals that have led from the front. And when I was going through your profile yesterday, I read about your first, lecture, your inaugural lecture. I saw the people that attended the lecture, went through your profile, a lot of things that you've done. How has it been for you attaining this height as a professor, the very first female professor from the chemistry department of the prestigious University of Ilorin? Talk to us about that journey.
Thank you so much. The journey is arduous. However, at long last, to God be the glory. If we want to start talking about the journey, your 1 hour is not enough. The journey started so many years back. And, you have to go to primary school, you go to secondary school, you go to university. And at the point of my wanting to get into university, I had to do JAMB. It got, after the third one, I felt, let me go for A-levels. After finishing A-levels, I had 9 points. And I was still given chemistry. I still wanted medicine. And I said, no. I have to do JAMB again. At that point, when I finished the JAMB, and my dad need to talk to my senses, that young lady, you have to take this chemistry they are giving you as destiny. And that your uncle, I have an uncle, the same father, with the same mother with my dad.
Your father?
With my dad, with my father. As at then, he was working in University of Ilorin. And my dad told me that he's a doctor, he's doing fine, he's living in quarters, the wife is fine, the children are doing fine, Whenever they are coming home for it, they always come with a big like, what else am I looking for in life? At that point, it was hard on me. I just decided to have, and I made a vow that yes, I will pick on to this chemistry they are talking about, but I will not rest on my oasis until I reach the peak. Then I thought the peak was doctor. You know, I wanted to do medicine to be addressed as a doctor. Exactly. So I said I will not rest until I become a doctor in this chemistry. And it's that vow I made on that day that kept on propelling me until I had my PhD. And it was after my PhD that it dawned on me that the journey is not it's not end yet. It's still, I have to continue. That the peak in academics is not doctor, but rather a professor. And that professorship will not come your way until you publish, you work, you research, you teach, and have a breakthrough in academics. And it's that breakthrough I had that brought the chair to me. After so many years, I had my PhD in 2007. Wow. Eventually, I became the professor in 2021. You can see the gap.
7 years
after the doctorate. And the inaugural lecture, that is the peak of somebody that had that chair in academics. And in my letter given to me, it was stated there that this lecture must be given within 3 years of your professorship. And I gave it less than 3 months to 3 years. And that was last week, Thursday. I think this time last week. This time last week, I was almost on not sick.
Prof, there was 14 years in between, before you eventually got your professorship. That was from 2007 to 2021. Why did it take you so long, and what were the challenges that you had in between that period? 14 years is a long time.
Yes. So many things happened. Really. In 2016, I became a reader in 2016. Reader is the next to professor. That professorship is supposed to come my way 1819 thereabouts. But so many things happened that I don't want to go into. And that's why I said the rest, they say, is history. At long last, I had it.
That's the most important thing. I was celebrating
exactly.
you.
At the point of 2019, it wasn't that I don't have what to take, but it doesn't come my way. And I took it as destiny. That whatever God doesn't give man,
it's not the person's own.
The man will not have it, even if the whole world want to give it to man. And whatever God wants to give man, even if the whole world doesn't want the man to have it, it will certainly come to him. So at long last, when my call comes, it comes my way, and it comes my way in a big way. It came when the cloud is clear. And that history that I've been destined for, I had it. That professor coming my way in 2021 made me the first female professor in Department of Chemistry, University of Ilorin. And last year, 2023, I became the HOD, 1st August 2023. I became the HOD of Chemistry. And I'm the 19th HOD. And I'm the first female HOD since inception of the department. So it came when it is very, very good for me. And that is why I said there is no point in digging the grave. Rather, let's take it as destiny. That is the way God wants it for me.
Thank you
everything has been coming in a grand style. I have it.
Thank you very much, Prof. Before we get into the topic itself, there's always the girl-child dichotomy I mean, it's always tough sometimes, when you see women attain levels that, some people think it is impossible, especially in fields that are really rare. What would you talk to the girl child listening to you this evening that, you just kept on, despite the fact that you didn't get the course you wanted to study, you still went on, and look at you right now, from wanting to be a medical doctor to becoming the first professor of chemistry in the prestigious University of Ilorin, to becoming the first head of department, and after all of the years, what would you tell the girl child listening right now in respect to how far they can go?
Thank you, Mr. Akiyode. They need to know that sky is the beginning. They need to know that they must not rest. It's never over until it is over. Whatever they want to do, it's one thing for you to wanting to do something. It's another thing, on the other hand, for destiny to be playing in your way. So if you have tried your best and you know that you have tried your best, it's not that I was failing. As at that time when I was doing jam, that I had 245. It's 245 small score. Even now, it's 245 small score. It definitely is not. But destiny is there waiting for me. That history I must make it. What God wants for me is different from what I wanted for myself. You get it right?
I'm with you.
So if the girls outside there, if they have people that are watching them, or their mentor, or they are taking care of them, once they are struggling to have something, and it's not that they are not making effort, and it's not that they failed, but rather what they wanted is not what that is coming their way. They shouldn't allow too much time to go. They should rather take it as destiny and determined to make sun, to make what will I call, to make aim.
Why the sun shines?
The sun is shining.
Thank you very much, Prof. In case you're just tuning in, I've been speaking with Professor Mrs. Adenike Abdurrahim, and I'm sure you heard, being the first.
Call me by my name. Let it be Professor Medina.
Okay.
Abdurrahim.
Okay.
Professor Medina Adenike Abdurrahim.
Okay, ma.
Let it be. Don't use that Mrs. Just leave it aside.
Okay, ma. Thank you very much now. Okay, like you heard, rightly corrected, I have Professor Medina Adenike Abdurrahim with me live on the phone. And she's the head of Department of Chemistry from the University of Ilorin, the first professor from that same department. So it's a pleasure to have you join. But let's get straight up into the conversation. Prof, education in Nigeria has faced a whole lot. Let me just put it from independent till now. Or let me just limit it to 1999, when we had this stretch of democracy, the Fourth Republic. We've had a lot of ministers, we've had, a lot of policies from the government just to make sure that education gets better. But in between that period, we've had major setbacks. We've had, the brain drain syndrome, a lot of our professors moving out of the country. We've also had young people within the academia moving out of the country. The ASU strike, a whole lot of challenges had bedeviled the educational sector in this country. Poor funding, research grants, and even look at the percentage of the budget for the year that goes into education. You have some ministries that are getting almost ×4, ×5 of what the Ministry of Education is getting. Prof, where are we right now as against where we are coming from with the educational system in Nigeria?
Thank you so much, Mr. Akiyode. It seems as if you don't know what the worth of what you have. The government of Nigeria, they are yet to see it well. I hope the current president knows what education means, because he too had it in hard way. I have the feeling that he's supposed to appreciate the brain of the country than the way it is now. From where we are coming from, in the olden days, if you are in university, you have everything on the platter of gold. The laundry is there for you to come and carry your education is free to start with. You are not paying. Your parents are not paying. Are you with me?
I'm with you, Prof.
The ticket for you to be eating your 3 daily meals will be given to you. The laundry will be coming to collect your clothes. Initially, when they collect it, they will bring it. But when the population increases, when they collect it, they create. I went to US, University of Ibadan. They will now create like a board, like an hanger in a wardrobe for your hostel. So when you come, it's already labeled your room. So you move in and pick your clothes. It's already labeled for you. It will be washed and ironed. And as you are finishing, the job is waiting for you. In fact, the day you have to go for NYSC, that you need, after your result is out, you will see so many offers waiting for you. And you will now have cause to decide which one do you want to go for. And from there, sky is the beginning. That was then. Now, everything is upside down. Upside down, I say. Upside down. Because we don't even know where, we can only talk of where we are coming from. We don't know at where, when, at what point things went wrong. How did we get to where we are? We can't account for it. And that is why you will see Nigeria going front and back. That is where you will see, notice that recently the national anthem was reversed. It wasn't changed. It was only reversed. You know, at a point, they thought what we had wasn't good enough. They now went for new one. You get it right?
I'm with you, man.
You will be used to the new one. We met the old one in school. So many youth doesn't even know the old one at all. So it's not really new. No. They went back to the old national anthem. The meaning is that even the government of Nigeria, they don't know at what point did we get to where we are currently. So they have feelings that when those things were in the old, you know, you youths of today, you make joke of new school, old school. So we are middle school. Our senior, they are old school. You are new school. But our own old school and middle school paid off than your own new school. So the government of the day is even thinking, if what we pay us is the old school, why not go back? You get it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because we can account for what was in place before now. But how did we get to where we are now? We can't really account for it. And that is why we are thinking, if the way of the old pays, why not continue it? So what is happening right now in the universities, in higher institutions generally, be it polytechnic, university, is almost reverse of what we enjoy. Economy is skyrocketing now. And the school bill is coming to the old. When it's people that can afford the money, their children will be the one to attend it, not those ones that cannot really afford it. It's coming there. That shows we are going back to the old. Because we can't account for how we get to where we are now. Right now. Well, we can account for what was in the past. Everybody kept on asking that question. At what point did we get it wrong? It's not only in Nigeria. It's like that all over the world. People that are brain drained, moving, one is only a little bit better than the other. Inflation is everywhere. Go and check online. One country is just better than the other. Exactly. Inflation is everywhere.
So, but Prof, now that we've established the fact that even the people saddled with the responsibility of fixing it don't even have an idea how we got to where we are right now. Now, let's trim it down. When the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board, the old student loan conversation, although it started from the previous administration, but this administration picked it up and tried to change a couple of, things that were quite controversial in it, the conditions for applying for the loans and all of that. But I mean, as someone that is within the academia, as someone that relates with a lot of students, you hear their pains, you see the challenges of getting through school, the cost of some of these things. Did you think the student loan was a good policy from this administration? And from where it is right now, how much do you think it will help to increase or improve the quality of education in this country?
We can't eat our cake and have it. The struggle is how can we want to increase. Why the loan is that they are thinking of increasing the tuition. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
They already know that increasing the tuition will cause an uproar in the society, because the meaning is that the masses will not be able to afford it. They are now looking for a way, a soft landing, that the masses that want to shout, instead of them shouting, they will know that they have this opportunity. The question we should be asking now is that opportunity they will be thinking they have, with the way that loan is being built and the way it will be administered, would they really have access to it? That is the question. It's like you want to take something from a child, and you don't want that child to cry foul. So you will be looking for something to replace what you want to collect, knowing that child may not really understand what you are collecting until later. Because if that child understands what you are really planning to collect, that child will know it's high time I don't agree. Once I agree, I'm already doomed. I don't know if you are with me.
I'm with you, man.
So the loan is like an imported thing that has worked elsewhere. But Nigeria, we always have Nigerian factor in quotes. And it's because of that Nigerian factor that the loan is all involving, with a lot of bottlenecks that will make it difficult for it to be accessed eventually. But for those that are determined and that they are really poor and their parents cannot really afford it, if they bent on having it, they are ready to walk through all the processes. Eventually, they will have it. You get it right?
I'm with you, man.
And it's a loan. If you go to UK, you go to US, you go to Canada, such loan is available. Student loan is available. We are developing. With all these things in place, it's like taking us on a road to becoming developed. Are you with me?
I'm with you, man.
But is this the way they are doing it? They are each free. Is that the way we will do it here? That is the question we should be asking. It's an institution that has already worked elsewhere and is still working. But with this Nigerian factor and with a lot of bottlenecks that is associated with the loan, it may be a little bit difficult and all involving. But for those students that are really, 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 really poor and met the standards, I have the feeling that if they bent on going through all those procedures, they will eventually have it. But how many will be able to rigor it? That is the question now.
Now, let's leave this issue of the student loan. I'm sure along the line of the conversation, we'll still come to that. Now, let's talk about the decision of the federal government to stop admission or stop admitting students that are below 18 years in the tertiary institutions. Prof, I'm sure that because of your activities within the academia, you're very well traveled. You also network with people outside of the educational system of Nigeria or even Africa. We see quite a lot of young people around the world, people that are way young. By the way, I finished secondary school when I was barely 16. At about 17 going to 18, I already got into the university. I was about 22 years old when I finished my first degree. It allowed me to settle down, go for another one, and still go for more. But now that the federal government had decided not to offer admission to students under 18 years, is this, in your own assessment, Prof, is this a setback, or you think it's a decision that is well thought of by the government?
Thank you, Mr. Akeyode. I kept on saying that all these rules, they are not just in. They have been there from the beginning. It still boils down to what I said earlier, that we don't know how we get to, what have we done wrong? How did we get to where we are now? That is the question ringing bell in the ear of almost topmost Nigerians now. The issue of 18 years has been in law for so many years back. Even when you did your JAMB and you enter university at age less than 18, that doesn't say that the rule wasn't there. It's only that they were at a point they silent on it. They used the rule when we wanted to enter school, not just the rule alone. We must put our hands to our ear, and the hand must touch the ear at the other side. Even if your age is 18, even if your age is 6, that you want to enter primary school. Am I communicating?
I'm with you, Prof.
And your hand cannot touch your ear. They will not still take you. So the rule has been there. It's a policy. At a 6336 or something like that. I can't remember the structure. It was initially 656 or something. Later it became 633. You use 6 years in
primary school.
You use 6 years in pre-primary school. You use 6 years in primary school. You now use 3 in secondary school. Are you with me?
I'm with you, ma'am.
Pre-primary school, you use 6 years. Primary school, you are expected to use 6 years. Secondary school, you are expected to use 6 years, but now split into 3.
Junior secondary and senior secondary.
Junior and senior secondary. Doing our own, that 3 used to be 5 years. We read from 1 to 5. We didn't know what is JSS 1 to 3, SS 1 to 3. Are you with me?
I'm with you, Prof.
So at a point, they have feelings that they want to improve education. They now put the rule to be 6, 6, 3, 3 before you now enter university. And the year you use university is based on what you are reading, the course of your choice, or what you have been admitted to read. So that rule has been on for long. But at a point, the people at the end of affairs, they now decided not to continue to use the rule. It's not that the rule was abrogated, no. They just decided to be silent on the rule because they want their children to quickly, instead of 6 years in primary school, they want them to use 4 years or 3 years. You get it right?
Yes, ma'am.
They wanted their children in primary school to use 4 years and get to secondary school. And at secondary school, they want them to read SS 1 to 3, but they wanted them to read only SS 1 to 2. They don't even want them to read SS 3. And if we want to really trace from where the problem we are facing today comes from, it should be from that what parents decided to take the life of their children, destiny of their children into their hands, and bypass the rule of the society. without anybody checking them, because most of them at that particular point of time were at the end of affairs of the education of this country. So the law was there, but it's silent on it. But this government is looking at what point did we get it wrong. There is difference between knowledge, education, and maturity. They are not the same. In fact, we do have early maturer. That the age will be small, but the children will be matured and will be able to cope. It's not the same thing. You get it right. But because everything is already upside down now, we need to have a basis for whatever we want to do. So I will be able to now monitor the indices and see where does the problem lie. They know that putting it at 18 may not really give us the results. Are you with me?
I'm with you, ma'am.
But it was at 18 when we have gotten results. That is why they want to go back to 18. Before when it was 18 and strictly they were using 18 years. When before you will get into primary school, you must have been 6 years of age before you enter primary 1. When your parents brings you to primary school, the HM teachers in charge, they will ask your parents to put your hand to your second ear and see whether your hand touches it. We didn't find ourselves in this chaos we are facing now. I was scrolling my phone yesterday and I saw something on social media on WhatsApp page where a boy of 20 years killed the dad because of money ritual. 20 years. Killed the dad because of money ritual. And they asked him, what did you remove? He said the private part. And something, I can't remember the second thing he mentioned. And they asked him, have you now been rich? He said some money just came. Some money came, like 100,000, 50,000, and the thing just stopped. But he kept on dreaming and seeing heaps of money. And they kept on telling him that as he sees the heat, it will soon come. That is mirage. If this age we have Yahoo and Yahoo Plus, we don't know what it is before. There is something they call Oᴜᴜᴜ before. But it's people that doesn't have lineage, good lineage, that venture into such. Because culture was taken so important before we get to where we are now. So government is just thinking, as told you earlier, that we don't know at what point we got it wrong. And we don't know what drives us to the mess we are finding ourselves now. But we knew there is a record of when there were rules and regulations, and when those rules and regulations were followed to letter. And they can point to a result of that time. They can point to a result of that time. So they were thinking maybe if we go back to those things, that history is very important. Yoruba will say, if a child did not meet history, it will meet the storytellers. Are you with me?
I'm with you, Prof.
Saying it from one generation to another, that is old people for you. But it seems as if even we learned that the association, now the associations of Yahoo and just struggling. All what government is trying to do may not really go down well with people to get it right. Put a little sanity into it. I've had opportunity to be the positivity of the result to do a trade-off. Overlooking the rule that are it, and that price we have so many youths are not really feeling it. It's how to make money. They don't mind making that money in 2-3 years dying. We've seen so many pushing. But can we continue like that?
No.
So this is the earlier we retrace ourselves, the better. What government is struggling to do is to retrace ourselves for us as a government of the people with all of us. No. But they have feelings that it will pay off because that culture is very, 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 very rich.
Thank you very much, Ma. Well, in case you're just tuning in, we do this every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. So with me today, I have Professor Medinat Adenike Abdurrahim. She's the head of Department of Chemistry from the University of Ilorin, the first female professor from the Department of Chemistry and the first head of department from the same university. So we've looked at the issues of the 18 years line that the federal government has drawn for admission. Now let's talk about the decision of JAMB, Prof. To peg the cutoff to had it repeatedly, you were not given the course you wanted. That was the standard. I doubt if I can remember the score I had in the 2 JAMBs I did, but I'm in school. I mean, it got me into school. But look at where we are right now. A lot of people, Prof, I've talked about the fact that university graduates, some of them cannot even fill basic employment letters. We've seen NYSC people posted to their place of primary assignment. They cannot fill forms. Graduates of universities, some of them are claimed not to be marketable or employable. The standard of education seems to be neither here or there in the last few years. But JAMB is now saying, let us reduce it further down to 140. You're within the academia. You deal with us in heights, in stature, in class, in status, anyhow. Is this the right thing to do, Prof? To reduce the cutoff that sometimes used to be 200, it was 180 at some point, now it is being pegged back to 140.
Thank you, Mr. Kiyode. The 140 you are talking about may not be for university, federal university. The cutoff varies. We have cutoff for federal university. We have cutoff for polytechnic. We have cutoff for NCE. JAMB now control all the higher institutions. So for you to be able to go in, you must do JAMB. Before JAMB taking over as unified tertiary
matriculation examination
board, each institution used to they are on their own, and they call for exam, they do exam. People that pass, have good results, are the one that will go for exam of university, federal university. At that point on time, there wasn't any state university. Later, state university came on board. You get it right?
I'm with you, man.
So what JAMB is trying to do is that even this higher institution, students that are going there, they are not of the same, they are not on the same pedestal. Let me talk it like that. They don't have the same results. People that want to enter NCE, for instance, they may have three passes can be taken. I'm just giving arbitrary scenarios. People going to polytechnic may be 4 passes. And these passes may not include English and math. But people coming to higher institutions, federal institutions, must have 5 passes, including math and English. Are you with me?
I'm with you, ma'am.
On that, if you look at the standard of O levels they need to have before entering, if it is not the same, the amount they used to have in JAMB, that will be the basis, cannot equally be the same. You can't expect students that cannot have 5 passes, including math and English, to be able to score 250 in JAMB. You can't expect such. So it's not the same. When JAMB is fixing cutoff, this 140, if you look at it very well, may be the one for NCE. 160 may be for polytechnic. 180 may be for university, maybe state university. and private university. 200 maybe Uìrìᴜᴜ, for instance, will be if you are talking of 180, maybe that 180 will be for our students that are doing what is it called? Remedial. If you want to enter that, it may be 200. It may be 200. And having that damn minimum doesn't say that you will enter. We have our own internal exam. And that is where the post-dam comes in. You know, the cost level of education has been bastardized. And so many private institutions have emerged. They are looking for students, candidates. Because the purpose of coming on board is really money. They are not looking at education as long-term business. They quickly want to have it. I see some private universities that thought they can do wonder. They took students that got so less, 100, 80, 120. That JAMB is now coming to put it at 140. JAMB has seen so many dirty things under. Are you with me?
I'm with you, Prof.
And after taking all these children, the university, their higher institution will still go back to JAMB to perfect the admission. JAMB is now coming openly that if your student did not score 140 and you want to come and perfect, don't come at all. Know that you have already faulted the rule. So JAMB is just struggling to clean the dirty things all these private higher institutions are doing underground. So having 140 doesn't say that if that university is a standard university, such a child will have admission. It's not.
Prof, thank you very much. I was going to bring this up in the course of this conversation. That is the involvement of private schools in Nigeria's educational system. Now they are the ones that some that they even call them miracle centers. These are probably people where you pay so much money for, they get your admission, get to process your JAMB and all of that. Gone are those days where people will tell you that, oh, the best form of education, the best professors are in the public universities. How much of a challenge, I don't want to use the word threat now, how much of a challenge is the continuous rise of private schools, be it secondary school or university, how much of a challenge is it to the standard of education in this country? You made mention of, them going back to JAMB they call it JAMB regularization, where you go back and get your admission. Is this a problem, and how much of a problem is this, Prof?
See, that is where the education is falling. And that is where it continues to fall. Because in higher institution that is federal, that is owned by government, government is the one paying the worker. And you know that for workers to be in, you must have a minimum standard. You can't be a lecturer if you don't have good results. Undergraduates, you must have good. If you have anything less than 2.2, you can't be a lecturer. And if you have 2.2, you have to enter for masters and redeem it for you to have above 60%. You get it right, and you must be able to start your PhD. All these are process to straighten things, to make people that will be teaching in higher institution process people, product of process. But in private universities, it's owned by an individual. And the purpose of floating it is to make money. There is no free food even in Freetown. So it's like they are looking for students, candidates. The money is exorbitant. And some parents can afford those amount of money. How can I pay such money and you will not now do whatever you want to do? You do it and let my word come out with first class. And that is why you will see private university, a new university just coming on board, making first graduation or second graduation, talking of 200 first class. Who does that? How would they be able to read and write? Answer me. How would they be able to face interview when it's time for job? But these students are people that their parents are already rooted in government. If they don't allow them to do it in Nigeria, they will still take Nigerian money out to get it in bonanza way. Their interest is not in that education. Their interest in the certificate. It's in the certificate. So is this money bad people that are doing all this? You can't see people that doesn't even have money that want to go and put their words in a private university where they will be paying in dollars. Do they know what is dollar? Do they have it? They don't. And that is where NUC supposed to focus. The university must come on board. There must be a staunch rules and regulations that must be followed. But when they are coming for accreditation, they find a way of doing it in a abracadabra way. You get it right?
I'm with you, Prof.
They will buy because they have money, and people that attend there, they will have gone behind the scenes to look for people that will take. They will send me somewhere now, and I will now agree and find a way of doing what is not. I will not. So they know the kind of people they will send wherever they are going. You get it right?
I'm with you, Prof.
And because we are already Nigerian system already allow compromise. At all, that is what is really causing problem. That is what is eroding our economy. Is the compromise. Kickback is already a legalized thing in Nigeria. You get it right. Nothing goes straight. Before you get to where you are going, if you are not ready to compromise, you won't even get there. Your journey will, you may, if you are destined to get there, you will get there, but your road will be rough. You get it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you can't compromise. Because our system is already being built to compromise. Ministry compromise. So if our government really want to dig this out, they need to find a way to rebuild our ministry. Once the system is reworked, re-engineered, then we are ready to move. So private institutions are in a way, not all of them anyway. You know there are some that are faith-based.
Yes.
There are some that are faith-based. And you will see them not really having so many
First
students.
class.
You won't see them having so many first class. You won't even see them having so many students. Because they are ready to do what is right. They are not ready to compromise. And they will already know that it's mission-based. So they are not really looking for money. They want to instill in students the way of God. Those ones are doing their own. And you will see their product a little bit better than what is in the larger society.
Thank you very much, Prof, for being my guest on the show today. We've looked at the challenges. I mean, you've talked about the prospect as well, that if you can go back to the old order, because the old order had given us results. The old order had brought in some sanity into the system.
Exactly.
That if you can maintain, because, Prof, I'm going to be very sincere. When I saw the issue of the 18 years, benchmark, big shout out to Amida Adedoyin. I was having this conversation with her yesterday. And I said, in the world where you see young people, kids of 15, 16 in other countries making inventions, we're still putting the cap. But from your perspective as a professor, as a member of the academia that sees students every single day and relate with them, we respect your opinion and we say you've given a different perspective to the conversation. Thank you very much, Professor Medinat Adenike Abdurrahim, the head of Department of Chemistry, University of Ilorin, the first female professor. It is very important we put that line. The first female professor from that same department. Thank you so much for joining me in this situation today.
The first female professor.
Exactly. First female professor.
The first female
head of
HOD.
department.
Exactly.
Prof,
exactly.
There's so much first that we can continue to talk about on the show today.
So God give me glory.
Thank you so much. Maybe in 2 minutes, you have your parting word for us. Let's listen to you, Prof.
Oh, thank you so much. Things look upside down, but at the end of the tunnel, there is always light. If we are dogged, Nigerians, Africans generally are meant to be dogged. Our lifestyle is dogged. But patience is what we need to have. The way we are going and the new reforms and all these things coming our way, if we can be patient a little, there is likelihood that there will be light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you.
So I want to appeal to Nigerians that we need to be patient a little while resolving within ourselves that each and every one of us should clean our corner. Stop double standards. Do it straight. Work it well. Obey the rules and regulations. And be firm. Definitely, we will have something to see at the end of the tunnel. There will be light there.
Thank you very much. But we hope the light will not be supplied by PACN because it cannot be guaranteed, Prof.
No, I'm not talking. I'm not talking.
Yes, that's just an lighter mood. That's just an lighter mood, Prof.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, Prof. We keep in touch and we wish you more success in all your endeavors, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Nice to be with you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Have a wonderful.
Sometimes I wonder why they have to put the light at the end of the tunnel. It's sometimes tough and difficult and complicated having to find your way to the end of the tunnel. But what I was trying to do on that, last line with Prof was that I hope the light at the end of the tunnel will not be supplied by PSN because it may not be guaranteed. But that's just on a lighter mode. Interesting, engaging, informative, and educative conversation I've had with Professor Modinat Adenike Abdurrahim. She's the head of Department of Chemistry, University of Ilorin, and the first female professor of chemistry from that same university. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the show today, ma'am. And we've looked at the issue of the cutoff of, JAM, according to what they said, 140, to unify the admission procedure across board. There's also the 18 years dichotomy. That's exactly why we decided to bring it up here, to be or not to be. But Professor, Abdurrahim says the educational system is being bastardized. And so kids that are supposed to still be under the control of their parents are already in university, living alone, taking decisions alone, and sometimes they may not be lucky or guided enough to take the proper decisions. Hence, the federal government feels you need to be legal, you need to be 18 before you leave the comfort of your parents and go to school. But I'm sure, I don't know, maybe this will be applicable across the board, but since it's the federal government, I'm sure even to private universities as well. Because you look at some private universities, and at the age of 14, you're already in school. Well, we need to take a quick break by 5 o'clock to take the headline news, and then when we come back, I'll read all of your messages and also pick your calls, and then we'll get the conversation going. You're live on mainland 98.3 FM, and this is the station. I'll be right back after the headline news and also pay some bills.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. President Tinubu to attend Africa Union Media Coordination Committee meeting in Accra on July 20th. Government announces 90-day traffic diversion on Lagos Bridge. Cholera vaccines to arrive Nigeria soon, says Gavi. Power supply. Federal government targets 10 million meters installation in 5 years. On the foreign scene, Bangladesh students defy ban, continues protest after dozens die in clashes. And in sports, Napoli, PSG in talks after Osimhen agreement. That's the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Fixing your damaged phone just feels like a lot of wahala and can be very expensive, right? But not anymore. MTN is here with a solution to help you protect your phones. Accident happens, so imagine this: your phone falls into water, no wahala. Your screen cracks, no wahala. Your phone gets burned, no wahala. Why? Because accidental damages are also covered. Even if you're lazy like me and cannot cope with the stress of getting your phone fixed, your damaged phone will be picked up, fixed and dropped off, all while you chill at home. And the best part is, you also enjoy free MTN data when you purchase any device protection plan. Seriously, who doesn't love free data? You also enjoy free MTN data when you purchase any device protection plan. To enjoy your device with peace of mind, visit mtn.ng/device services to get your pocket-friendly device protection plan. MTN, outdo yourself. Attention everyone, this is an important message about cholera.
Cholera is a serious disease, but we can stop it together.
Remember to always drink clean, safe water. Boil or treat your water before drinking.
Wash your hands with soap and clean water, especially before eating and after using the toilet.
Cook your food thoroughly and eat it while it is hot.
Keep your surroundings clean and dispose of waste properly.
If you or anyone you know shows symptoms like severe diarrhea or vomiting, seek medical help immediately.
Together, we can beat cholera and keep our community healthy.
This message is brought to you by Mainland 98.3 FM, Lagos. Stay safe, stay healthy. Spot that smartphone you've been eyeing? That one that seems just out of reach because of its hefty price tag? Hold up, MTN has got your back, bringing you an effortless way to snag your dream phone without emptying your pocket with Easy Buy. Choose any phone you fancy and conveniently spread the payment over 3 to 12 months. Keep your budget intact and your smartphone dreams. But wait, there's more. Not only do you get to enjoy budget-friendly payment option, but you also enjoy up to 10 gig free MTN data. Now, that's a steal. Don't watch your dream phone slip away. What are you waiting for? Visit the nearest mobile phone retail outlet. Look for the Easy Buy agent. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. What are you doing today?
Things seems anxious and uncertain.
Mainland.
I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
In our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development. We have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Oᴘᴜᴜᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you, roommates, as we discuss the situations.
Gender equality is a human rights issue. It is about ensuring that everyone, regardless of their gender, has the same opportunities, rights, and protections. Challenging stereotypes, breaking down barriers, and creating a more inclusive society where everyone is treated with respect and dignity is a collective responsibility. Gender disparities start out small, in homes and communities, and these harmful gender norms progress and are perpetuated at the highest levels. In some countries, they become entrenched in laws and policies that violate the rights of individuals because of their gender. Discriminatory teaching practices and education materials also produce gender gaps in learning and skills development. Let us stand up for gender equality, support each other, and strive for a world where everyone can thrive and reach their full potential.
Thank you very much for staying with us on Milan 98.3 FM. By 5:30, the full bulletin would come through for us, and by 6 o'clock, we'll come around for Sport Cruise. It's the Friday edition, the last edition of the show for the week, and myself and Tomiwa will take you through the world of sport, especially as we continue with the countdown to the Paris 2024 Olympics. It's 7 days' time, and Team Nigeria has already arrived in Paris yesterday. Talk about all of that this evening by 6 o'clock, but we're back in the Situation Room. And before we went on that break from 4 to 5 o'clock, I have with me as my guest Professor Madinat Adenike Abdurrahim, the head of departments of chemistry from University of Ilorin, the first female professor of chemistry from that university, and the first female head of that same department. As she said, she's the 19th head of department, but the first female. Very so honored to be in that position. We had the conversation around education in Nigeria, the challenges, the prospects, and the progress that we've made over the last few years. We also talked about the issue of the 18 years benchmark that the federal government had placed on admission to tertiary institutions in Nigeria, and the cutoff of 140 across board, to be or not to be. And you know, Prof actually brought in a different dimension, especially on the 18 years conversation. She talked about the fact that a lot of people within the tertiary institutions in this country, and I think she's well placed to have this conversation for someone that has been within the academia for over 20 years. So it's a different conversation, but I'm sure there's been a lot of reaction to that decision as well. You know, how would, if you finish at 15 or at 16, that means you have to stay at home for 2 years in case your parents can't afford to send you out of the country. But well, it's a conversation that we'll have to keep going, and I want to have your thoughts about it, especially if you follow the interview and you listen to what Professor Abdurrahim said. What are your thoughts? 0913-600-0410. I'm also seeing your messages on our social media platforms. We're also streaming on YouTube, by the way. Still Facebook.com, Mainland 98.3 FM, and on YouTube and Instagram, it's Mainland 98.3. Let me have your thought. I'll pick your calls. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening, Obi.
Happy New Year.
Good to have you join us today.
How are you today, my brother?
I'm good, and you?
I'm okay. This Nigeria, but this is 16 years or 18 years of are these people taking us forward or backward? I'm a very good student, so he cannot enter university at the age of 15, 16. I remember in England, as a boy, I was 9 years old. He entered the university forward. Instead of them, what of this one that are marrying up children of 12 and 13 years? Which one is more horrible? Is it this one or that one? They should concentrate on the better things in this country and leave us alone. Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hope 0913-600-0410. Join the conversation. Talk to us. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, Prof.
Hello, you're welcome, Mr. Gege.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Gege calling from Eᴅᴜᴜᴜ.
Good to have you today.
Mr. Kwesi, if a politician promised and fail, how do you describe that?
His promise and fail.
So if a journalist promise, if a radio presenter promise and fail, how do you call that?
Terms and condition applied.
Are you sure? You are defending yourself. No, Allah. You know, this is not a sports zone. See, I think the government has a lot of issues to deal with. Not all these 18 years. What concerns you with 18 years? Whatever anybody wants to do with their life, especially when it comes to education, let them do it. At least you get the result now. Some of them are not even employable. You know, the element is there. So why are you disturbing? We have a lot of issues in Nigeria to tackle. We are talking about 18 years mandatory. This is what I say. If we have to go that way, let's see now.
0913-600-0410. Talk to us. What do you make of that? 18 years. I don't know why the word minimum wage keeps coming to my mouth. Probably because we had that conversation yesterday, and it is what is trending right now. 70,000 is what the federal government had pegged the new minimum wage at, and the Labour NLC had come out to say that, hey, we're in support of it because of the other incentives and the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also promised to have a review of the minimum wage in the next 3 years. Well, how significant is that 3 years? We're going to be preparing for a second-time election, right? Don't underrate Nigerian politicians. Talk to us. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Oᴜᴜᴜ.
You're welcome, Mr. Drojai.
I enjoy your guest today.
Thank you.
Going back to the way of the old will really improve our system if only we can do that. See, when we're growing up, the Bible says, now
the Bible didn't say about. The Bible said passion.
When we're growing up there, they beat us at school. But now they say that you shouldn't touch all these children now. And they are going astray every now and then. We forget history totally. And the people creating this are the ones who benefited most in this country. Majority of them scholarship, not a carry. Majority of them took scholarship. Here the woman, he said, we don't even need to go and wash your clothes when they were back then in UI. But now, 17 people will be in the room. No light, nothing. How will you read well and understand what you are reading? Maybe if you go back to the old, maybe you will prosper. That's just my submission.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. Let's get the conversation going. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
You're welcome.
It's Nicky calling.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed your guest.
Thank you.
Only that she reminded me what pained me when I was 6 or 7.
What's that?
Yes, I'm a teen. I'm Koinde. My time we were in the same class. So we got promotion to primary 2 because he's taller than me. A new headmaster came and said, this is rich. Oh yeah, put your hand over your ear. Anyone that was how they returned me back to primary 1.
Oh, and they allowed your twin to go.
Yes,
Oh.
and I took fourth position. I took fourth position, and himself took 27th position out of 31. So, I will never forget it. So, the truth is that if we are trying to go back to the past, I think, like I keep saying, we should be meticulous about that, because one is that I like it because it means that they want the children to have a mind of their own before getting to the university, so that they will not be, influenced so easily as that. But the same students are at those days we are at home, learning from our elders who value moral so much. But now children at home, when they tune the radio, everywhere what they are hearing from the elders is encouraging. It's not encouraging. You'll be hearing billion, this one's 2 billion, this one lawlessness everywhere. So these children have a lot of distraction. From childhood, they began to think of how to make money. That is the truth, because they now know that moral is nothing in our society, but money. And the politicians are every day aggravating the issue with the kind of billions and billions here, then stealing everywhere. So our children don't even see us as sharp. They look at us as, my father, all this moral they are teaching us. Now, look at people making it, those kind of things. So the politicians should not only devise a way of coming to the followers alone, or subjecting the followers alone. They that are leading should lead well. That is the truth. There are a lot of distraction. Okay, look at what the guest said. A small boy killing the father. Can you imagine that? Thank you, Ope.
Thank you very much, Eᴅᴜᴜᴜ, for joining us. 0913-600-0410. Mr. Larry Olakomi is talking to us on Facebook, and he says, moral decency has eroded our societal value and virtues. What did you expect the child whose father introduced him to marijuana and alcohol drinks at the age of 2 or 3 to become when he attains the age of 10? 140 has cut off for polytechnic and university admission needs not to generate any fees. Federal Polytechnic Ilara would never admit any student that score less than 150. Okoyemi, I'll forward the cutoff for different courses at Federal Polytechnic Ilara to you when it is released. The federal government has settled for 16 years as the minimum entry for prospective students seeking admission into our ivory towers. Thank you very much, Mr. Lakomi on Facebook. Hello, good evening.
Okay.
You're welcome.
My name is Don Peters.
Don Peters, good evening. Good to have you join us today.
Made me call, and I will tell you why.
Please go on.
I'm very happy you cover sports very well. Do you see this young guy in Europe? That guy that played for Spain.
That's Lamine
Yamal. In Barcelona, 100%. Do you know if that guy is in Nigeria? They will tell you that he's not right to face 80,000 capacity to do wonders. Do you know that if that guy, if he happens to be here in Nigeria,
you won't even get into the under 15.
Yeah, they will tell him to wait. That the elderly people is still there. Do you know that if that guy is in Nigeria, he will not be getting any chance? But at the age of 16, he have accomplished everything.
He's a star.
So what am I trying to say here? Wisdom, talent does not come from the elders alone. It comes as God gave it to. This 18 years or 16 years as they are talking about in the university, I think they should reconsider that. There are children who are brilliant, who are even more responsible, who can reason more logical at the age of 13, 14, even more brilliant than some of our contributors here on the platform. Honestly speaking, even more brilliant, who knows what to do, nitty-gritty, the policies to apply, and things will be fine in Nigeria and in their 15, 16. So trying to take Nigeria backward is not where we should be right now. Okay? Why I'm complaining is this. I have a lot of brilliant children around me who are getting promotion, double promotion on their own, not on merit. You know, the school proprietor, they are seeing these ones as their genius. So are we encouraging them or are we demoralizing that and special children?
Thank you.
To carry on?
Please kindly ask Prof if these young children that brought are they the ones that brought cultism to Nigeria? They should allow exceptional children to move on. Thank you very much. You didn't put your name. This one says, good evening. God bless your guest. She's spoken well. I have 2 children that are in university at the moment. Both of them are young, and sometimes I worry about what they do, especially when I see their post on social media. May God bless Nigeria. That is Madam Ronke from Badagry. Okay. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. President.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is Comrade Yosobo from Palulu.
I didn't get your name, Comrade.
This is Comrade Yosobo from Palulu.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. You see, the problem with us is this students, we are not patient in this country. You know, I don't know why the rushing is all our students in university. I entered primary school at the age of 10. But by the time I'm in secondary school, I was an expert in English and mathematics. I don't know our problem in this country. I think the problem in this country is that it's still not together. This different culture that we don't appreciate. The fixing by force together is our, of course, this country is our problem. Look at the Bible just put down. Anyone who was 17 years when he played for Super Eagles, in case he was in Silver College, but they don't want this. Look at somebody who was talking the radio. I listened to that person. He said, look, the president Tinubu will not get one foot in 2007. If you hate somebody, it's you that hate it, nobody hates it. But I was so happy to this morning. Some of them are calling against that, oh, president did well, they are happy when they see the people collecting check for student loan. And this is let us be patient. We are not patient in this country. Because your country is not getting it. Must we put our country down?
Thank you, comrade.
Must we put our country down? Look at what is happening now.
Thank you very much. Let's talk. Let me read some of your messages. That's your text messages, and it says, "This is Ohi from Ojo. On the minimum age entry into the universities, we need to understand that a lot must have gone into that decision. Academic brilliance is not the same thing as maturity. The university system needs matured mind who needs no babysitting. This is a reality. Some parents learn in the very hard way." Thank you very much, Ohi from Ojo. I appreciate your message. This one says, there's a saying that says when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse become inevitable. Tell me, all of the ministers that this government have appointed, which one of them have worked so far? This is what you get when you put square pegs in round holes. Okay, thank you very much. This is Benjamin from Shogunle, and it says, to me, education in Nigeria have been really bastardized. From the parents to the government of all levels, we need to go back to the old part where the value was respected, when people with morality is celebrated and not money. Okay, thank you very much, Benjamin from Shogunle. Timida from Idimu is talking to us, and it says, your guests, okay, please, can she give informed assessment that compare the academic performance of undergraduates vis-a-vis their age, perhaps in the last 10 years? We need specific. Timidayo from Idimu, appreciate you. Prince, government is to blame for this poor showing in education. We need to emulate countries like Japan, the UK, and China. The best resources God has given to man is the brain, and we must develop it. Thank you very much. And that is Prince all the way from Ojo. Let me read your messages on Facebook. Chika Bende from Trade Fair says, educational sector in Nigeria is almost dead, and the only thing that can bring it back to life again is when the children of the political leaders begin to school here. Otherwise, there's no remedy. That's Chika Bende from Trade Fair. So Chukwu Adele says, the so-called inventions that are being churned out by people below the matured age make okay, I didn't get that part, but let me skip to the next paragraph. He said, I was in primary 2 at the age of 8, for example, and I did not use most of these conveniences of inventions, but the extent of the impression of education I have left on me remains to be completed. Therefore, we should revisit the old order as mentioned by the professor, and that is the way to go. No child should be in the university below the age of 18. To even have a situation like that is fraudulent, looking at the delays and challenges in the educational system in Nigeria. That's Tochukwu Adele from Obanikoro. Okay, interesting perspective there. Thank you very much. Let me still pick your call. Hello, good evening, caller.
Hello, good evening.
You're welcome, Mr. Damilola.
Good evening. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, and I trust you as well.
Honestly. Hi, your guest has spoken very well. Very, very well. But the thing is just that this is a modern age. This is a jet age. The world is going fast, Agoyemi. We cannot go slower in this country. I think the problem right here is not even the age. The problem is so many things around that children have been exposed to. In foreign countries, like where Tabitha said, a lot of young minds, young age, are going faster, setting records globally. And doing the way to 18 before our children we set out to achieve greater things. But the thing is just that, let's look at our community. Society will produce a lot of corrupt minds into many sectors. If our government can be reasonable enough to put this in order, the age is not a problem, but the upbringing, how do we bring up these children? What and what available for them to put with? And what and what place on ground for them to roll with? Even the institutions. Even someone of age of 20, 30, 40, they can misbehave if things are not working.
Thank you very much.
Honestly, thank you, good one.
Thank you very much. Eᴅᴜᴜᴜ from Oshodi is texting, and he says, thank you for the good work. I'm a school proprietor, and therefore this is my constituency. I concur with the UTME minimum age because it will help the maturity instinct of the children on how to manage success. Education is not about cognitive alone. It is just one of the parameters for utilitarian education. Thank you very much, Mr. Eᴅᴜᴜᴜ. You're a proprietor, so I also want to think you have bigger understanding from where we're coming from. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show for the week, and it's been an amazing session. In case you missed it, you can go on our YouTube page, Mainland 98.3, on Facebook, Mainland 98.3 FM, on Instagram, and don't forget to follow us on X, formerly Twitter, on Mainland FM. But on YouTube and Facebook, you can catch the recording of this program so that you can watch it live. And my guest today was Professor Madinat Adenike Abdurrahim, the head of Department of Chemistry from University of Ilorin, the first female professor of chemistry from the University of Ilorin, and the first female head of department of that same chemistry department. She joined me on the phone today, and we had a conversation around the 140 cutoff from the UTME, the 18 years minimum age, almost sounded like minimum wage for admission into tertiary institutions in Nigeria, and so much more. My name is Oᴑᴜᴜ. A big shout out to everyone that made this production a success. Once again to my colleague Amida Adidoyin for the link up for the guest, and to everyone that stayed, that called, that listened. We say thank you. Join me on Monday, same time, same station, 4 to 5:30 p.m. But I will be back by 6 o'clock for Sports Cruise. But by 5:30, the full bulletin would come up. Don't go nowhere. Keep your dial on Mainland 98.3 FM because we are the sound of Lagos.